Hey guys, still here and welcome back to Wargame Red Dragon. We're back on mod fight, but not with a 10v10 tactical. This is a 2v2. It's not quite a tactical, although the guys don't seem to have a lot of points. We're watching Dolphinantly and Graph Theory, and Graph Theory is the one who sent in the replay. We're playing Destruction. Target is 2,000 points, so it's not that many. And that also leads me to believe that they have a low amount of starting points. Otherwise, you're going to have quite a much higher amount of kill points. Also, the types of units that they're deploying is another indicator that I think would logically lead you to conclude that these guys are not granted a lot of points. Because he's trying to defend the left flank with VBL Mistral and a couple of AMX-10RCs. So he's going a bit stingy on the amount of income. Or in the spending on the left. He says we can try to take one of these towns. And he's going to send some small reconnaissance over there. So there's not that much going on. They do have a FOB currency or currently owned by Graph Theory. I think either Dolphinantly doesn't have one or removed his one already. So that he could get a few more units. Now let's speed up through the deployment phase. We're going to have one CV here from Graph, and the other CV from Dolphin is going to push forward. Exact destination, not yet known. We'll just have to see, but it's arguably going to be parked into Charlie. The left is covered by those two AMXs and an AMX... by three AMX-10RCs, in fact. The VBL Mistral got relocated. We also have an AMX-10RC here, an AMX-13 VTT, a Tiger helicopter as an escort for the Blackhawks, and over here, I can barely make it out because they're pretty much stuck in. That's another couple of AMX-10, single AMX-10RCs, and these are V150s with recon, arguably SEALs. Oh no. I think there might have been a slight breakdown in communication. Because he's arguing, or he's asking, do you want to go for this? We can take one of these towns. And the V150s with what I think are SEALs, potentially Rangers, just stopped. And the Blackhawks are not doing anything either. So he's going, no, we need these units. Now it might not be the best idea to be pushing because they do have an ITO 90 against them. And the Tiger is already on the receiving end of some of those Crotal NG missiles. Too much on the receiving end at that. So that's their first loss at 120 points. The left flank is just being covered by those three AMX-10RCs, and while these things do have reconnaissance, the good optics, they don't really hold themselves too well if you throw anything that resembles a tank at them. And that's exactly what the guy over here has done, and he's fielded a Chonmaho 5, immediately killing off one of the AMX-10RCs, leaving just these two, one of which is already detected because it's, I think, not quite properly hidden. Not quite in the tree line. And the other one is already engaging the Bachongsu and the Hwasung Chong that was transporting it. Now the Rangers from Dolphinantly actually got offloaded from the V150s, but the V150s died. Chasseurs, which were transported by the AMX-13 VTT, I think, also died. Or at least the transport did. And they're now fighting off against Erics. Rangers versus Erics, I think, is in the favor of the Rangers, because they also have the M240. The Chasseurs, fortunately, were able to take cover behind the town, otherwise they'd be getting eliminated by the T-72 M1 that's out here escorting. Now this means that they really don't have a lot of units left. They have two mortars from Graph, we have one AMX-10, a second one joining. There is one PIVADS, which is active, so a seed aircraft that flies over could immediately wipe it out. There's another PIVADS that's on the move, retreating. And over here we got the Rangers, but the Chasseurs already died. So Red 4 has scored 500 points, and Blue 4 has scored 55. That's about 10 times the points. We seem to have a small problem. How are you going to defend Charlie with the units that you have? How are you going to make sure that they don't overwhelm you within the next 3 minutes? Well, first come the Bradleys from Dolphinantly. These are Bradley M2A1, so they got the ITO missile and a very accurate Bushmaster, especially when sitting still. Armor on these things is pretty good for an IFV, but of course maneuverability leaves a little bit to be desired. It is a tracked vehicle, it's not going to arrive terribly quickly. But still, hopefully, before the enemy is able to just rush this town. And it seems like the Rangers are trying to push forward, even though Graf is saying, don't leave this building. That's exactly what the Rangers do. They're trying to push the Eriks out. And in the meanwhile, they're seemingly taking a couple of shots at this T-72. But to the dismay, probably, of Graf, he's actually pushing with the Rangers into a retreating tank. The tank's being smoked up, so they also have mortars. And of course, we already saw those in action as they were smoking up the buildings here. We need these Rangers to just hold this town until reinforcements can arrive. So, hold until relieved. We need this town. Another MX-10 RC on the left is being pressured, once again, by the Chanmaho 5. Again, not a terribly high value tank. It's just 90 points. But, yeah, an MX-10 RC is 30 points and just doesn't hold up very well against a Chanmaho 5. So now they only have one MX-10 RC on the left. A Humvee is trying to assist, but spotting's not really the problem. It is that Chanmaho. We need something to take down that tank. The Bradleys might be able to do it, but we also have problems in here, as Graf has put up a couple of defensive markers, so there's probably something there. And to make matters worse, there's an XA-185 on the right flank. Fortunately, it's a KRKK, so it's a grenade launcher one. If that had been one with an autocannon, then the mortars and the pivats would probably have already died. Dolphinitely, as far as I'm concerned at least, offloads the rifleman too late. He did get away with it, but that was close. If those Eriks had gotten a shot off, they might have taken out a Humvee or a Bradley in one shot. Now, hopefully, the Bradleys are not going to do anything stupid. Which is, of course, exactly what they proceed to do. They're pushing out, moving up into the tree line. But that Chanmaho is still out there. The Bradleys need range to let those Itos work. They don't need to be in the face of the Chanmaho, and that's exactly what the Chanmaho is trying to force. The Chanmaho is in range, and the Bradleys don't even know where the Chanmaho is. So, in this case, with the Bradleys, I would say pull them back, put them about here, or all the way over there. Although that is a much riskier place, because we still have that T-72 M1 PAIV somewhere over there. There it is. So, this place over here would have probably been more effective. Sure, you got a couple of tree lines, but maybe you can lob that HEGM right through them. And with that, eliminate that Chanmaho 5, which has been harassing the forces for quite a while. Now, the reinforcements have arrived for the Rangers in the form of the Legionnaire 90. The Legionnaires are there with their Eriks, so anything that gets within a 1,000 meter range and has tracks or wheels is going to get killed off. Because this AT weapon is very good. 25 AP, meaning that this T-72 is not very safe. The Charioteer arguably is normally not a very big threat, but you don't really have that much that can reach out and touch this tank. So just as a supporting tank, this Charioteer could very easily support the Yekari against the Rangers. But I think they're just not quite either in... No, they should be in range. This tree line over here, there we go. Maybe they didn't have the line of sight. Maybe that was the problem. Now, left flank has been getting reinforced somewhat. We have the Humvee, we have the AMX-10RC, and unfortunately the LAV-AT that was here a moment ago got bombed out of existence. So that anti-tank weapon is gone. We still have a skirmish going on over here between Chasseurs and Eriks Yekari. So these are not safe woods and not, well, not normally where you would put a reconnaissance unit. I would love a reconnaissance unit over here or here just to see what the enemy's going to do, what they're bringing. But good luck getting one of those guys in here, because the woods are still not clear. Legionnaires are taking an absolute kicking, and as they're trying to retreat, the XA-185 KRKK comes out. The grenade launcher only has a range of 1,000 meters, so do the Legionnaires. Legionnaires take out a BTR-50 and immediately incur the wrath of the XA-185. They are still 500 points behind, and that number is going up, not down. Two VAP 20/13s have been able to sort of evade the majority of the group, and seemingly are just moving through the woods. maybe they can flank the guys over here or there. And even a Vab can take down a Charioteer, because a Charioteer, especially in the back, has just about no armor. 1 point, which, with these autocannons doing 2 AP, should not be a problem. So even the side of this tank should be penetrable. Chasseurs fighting for their lives, and now no longer getting any kind of assistance from any unit over here. Everything died. The only thing that's still alive is the CV. We got a couple of mortars. We got some units which just narrowly evaded a bombardment. And 2 Martyr 2s might be able to stem the flow of units, albeit temporarily. And they might even take a hit from a tank without dying, because these guys have 7 frontal armor. 6 AP, however, is probably not enough to take down that tank. That Chonmaho 5, if it's still alive. So we're going to have to bring something else. And that's why the Bradleys and the LAV ATs are here. Unfortunately, the LAV ATs don't have reconnaissance. The Chonmaho 5 is still alive, and this thing has 16 frontal armor. So you're going to have to get really quite close if you want to actually pen one of those things. If you want to be more sure that you're going to be able to kill it, you're going to need to bring the Chasseurs closer, or the Panzer Grenadiers. Panzer Grenadiers, currently way out of range, trying to scurry through the woods in order to get into safety. And unfortunately both Martyr 2s got killed. Now, I'd say he made a bit of a poor call here. Of course, he's in combat, so you're under, let's say, combat stress. I would have probably pulled those Martyrs back. Because the closer you get to the tank, the more damage the tank is going to do, and also the more accurate the tank is going to be. If you just get out of range, you might stand more of a chance. Might. You don't exactly know what else is coming in. So out of those 20 initial Panzer Grenadiers, only 4 have survived. Red 4 is now 600 points ahead. There's 10 Commander Para, 4 Panzer Grenadiers, and 2 mortars, which are starting to run out of ammo, but they're close to the FOB, so they should be fine. Outside of these commandos, we don't know anything about what's coming down this road. If they really wanted to rush, they could. A couple of fast motorized transports just rushing down here. And in no time, you got the infantry inside this building. And you're already engaging the command infantry. They're now about 700 points ahead. 670 is what Red 4 is currently leading with. And they probably think that they just need to mop up. And they're right. Because Red 4 just has more intel, more bombing runs, as they continuously execute bombing runs here. Blue's probably too resource starved to actually be able to afford any anti-air. So those bombing runs will continue, and Red is just slowly going to roll them. Or are they? Because the VAB 2013s over here are still crawling towards the back of the line. They have been able to take down a unit. As you can see, Badu has been promoted to Elite. Vigne, I think, not yet. I think that's the rank that he started out with. The enemy probably knows that there might still be a VAB or 2 out there, but I'm not sure if they're actually taking that as a very serious threat. Graph Theory only has a few units left. He has his FOB, the mortars, 1 Tiger helicopter, command infantry, and the VABs. His fellow definitely has the Bradley, and this is not a good spot for the Bradley, because you're immediately going to get detected and shot at by anything that comes out of this forest. Let's say that there might be a tank out there. Same for this Bradley. I want this Bradley in here in a tree line, maybe even all the way back here, so I can still maneuver it around when the situation calls for the Bradley to strike. The CV has now been detected. And he is trying to smoke it up. Graph, he's trying to make sure that the CV survives, because that's another 100 points that they're going to have to replace, and that they really don't want to lose. Red is, interestingly, not capturing a lot of terrain. I mean, yes, they have the terrain, but they haven't put CVs in them yet. If they had done that, then the Red 4 units would have been even harder to stop, because there would just be a lot more of them. He's now saying get HEGMs. The problem is that the US doesn't really have HEGMs on their infantry. Sure, you got your light infantry, but outside of that unit, you don't really have a lot of options. It's not like you get the HEGM Lan F3 or something to that extent. So this town is going to be defended by Rangers, a Stinger team, and the Bradleys. And I think the Bradley just does not quite have line of sight. The Tiger does, and kills a 5-point unit there. And that still puts Red 4 at 710 points in the lead. 2 Hawks are now actually trying to charge the Tiger, dealing severe damage to the helicopter. It's just narrowly able to stay alive. And it has shot down one of the Hawks. So that's 1 aircraft less, thanks to one of the Stingers fired from the Tiger. And I think another Stinger that came up from this Stinger group. The Vabs are just about ready to strike over here. We just need to get a little closer to Echo. Red keeps fielding units. They keep putting pressure on Blue 4. We got units coming in from the right flank, from the road, from the left. There's an artillery unit that's currently trying to pound this VIB-20 into the ground. And to his credit, Graph Theory has recognized that the left flank is very much exposed. And he's trying to get rid, or he's trying to keep eyes on it. Excellent bombing run here by Red 4. I really like what Graph did in the form of trying to smoke up his parked helicopter, because he probably knew it was going to get spotted. Unfortunately, Red knew where it was, because it was somewhere inside of that smoke screen, and just decided to drop a couple of bombs at it. And this time around, the helicopter was not fast enough to turn around, and not fast enough to get the kill. There is 1 transport coming in, probably trying to get infantry dropped off close, but also to see how much resistance they're getting. A couple of Sissy have been dropped off. They're firing against the riflemen, against the transports. Or actually, no, they're not fighting the transports yet. Possibly just the riflemen here. And another Hawk 51 flies in. Now, at this point, it's time to start paying attention here. Because one of the Vabs has just died. So we have 1 Vab 2013 left. And it's the lower promotion one. It's Vigne. 2 T-62Ds come in. And he manages to get into the forest. But if those 2 T-62Ds give chase, we're going to have a big problem. They are very, very close now. The T-62Ds, right over here, pointing their guns directly at the Vab, firing and missing. Both tanks miss the Vab. The Vab is panicked and is able to escape into the forest. This is where the Vab has the advantage, because a Vab is way better at off-roading than a T-62D. So he's going to have to use this forest to get away, and then just roll down this ramp and make sure that he loses line of sight with the T-62Ds. Over on the right, we have a charge coming in. XA-185 KRKKs are coming in. There's not a lot that can stop that. This is when a VAB 2013 would be fantastic, or an AMX-10 RC. And that's exactly what he's bringing. He's bringing in 2 of the VAB 2013s, probably with more Legionnaires. I'm not sure if the Legionnaires, however, are the right unit to fight, because these guys with a KT and the KRKK are definitely able to, well, negate the ability of Legionnaires to engage them with those missiles very quickly. The VAB has found the prize. The VAB has found the CV. 1 CV dies. Red 4 is still way over 700 points ahead. And there is still a modicum of defense being put up by Blue, but it's not a lot. We got artillery fire landing close to the mortars from Graf. So he's trying to move them out of position. And maybe it's easier not to move your mortars, but to take down the unit that's actually killing you. Which seemed to be a howitzer firing from somewhere in this position. He's captured the FOBs and the cargo trucks. That's interesting because it means that there's no other unit nearby. Now where does Red, or the side that usually starts here, park their CV? Usually. Here, here, or here. Some people park it here just to throw you off. And in this case, the VAB 2013 is going to have to make a guess. Because there are units coming back for it. If he guesses wrong, he's going to have a problem. Because he'll start to get chased down by units. If he guesses right, this game could be over. Because Red has not captured any other territory. You can see the Chon Maho coming back. This thing is going directly for the VAB. So the VAB does not have a lot of time. Where is that command vehicle? Can we catch that thing in time? And the answer is yes. There is the command infantry. They're down to one guy. And they win. Even though the score was 860 versus 1420. When you kill the last CV, I think the game immediately kills all the other units on the map as well. And all of a sudden Blue 4 gets credited with 1952 points in kills versus 1480 points in losses. So, point of this replay, if it looks like everything is going to shit, if it looks like you're completely losing the fight, don't give up, because there might just be that one weak spot in the enemy line. That one weakness that you can exploit using a quick unit and a lot of luck. Because let's be honest, those T-62Ds could have very easily one shot at that VAB. And yes, this tactic worked this time around. Maybe 8 times out of 10, it doesn't work. Anyway, hope you guys inspired this to, or hope this inspired you guys to stick around and fight it out. Because who knows, there might just be that one opening in the enemy lines that you can exploit. Good luck playing Wargame. If you have a good game, be sure to send it over. Link down below in the description. And I shall see you guys soon for another Wargame video.